Today's recipe is a highly anticipated copycat version of that Thrive Life tomato sauce, and it's something I haven't really seen anywhere else. You can use this sauce mix as a one-to-one swap in any of my recipes that call for the tomato sauce. It's very similar to marinara, so you can throw it in a soup or a casserole. You could cook it a minute and put it on a pizza, which is what I'm going to show you today. It's wonderful. I hope you love it. Well, hi there, everyone. My name is Kareth. I'm a wife, a mom, an author, and a cook. On this channel, I like to create recipes using freeze-dried food. Sometimes it's completely shelf-stable, like a meal or a mix in a jar. Other times, I combine freeze-dried with fresh, but all the time, it's delicious. I'm here to help people who have freeze-dried food on their shelves to know how to cook with it. I test out recipes so you don't have to. Welcome to the Freeze-Dried Foodie. I've been working this week on this recipe, and the one I'm going to show you today is probably the fourth version, and it's a really good one, y'all. It's really close to the Thrive Life tomato sauce. It's been a little bit tricky, and I'll tell you why, but I'm really pleased with this one that I'm going to show you today. I'm also going to be baking a loaf of bread for my daughter Ashley. I just wanted to show you that. And I'm also using that same recipe. It's my artisan bread recipe. I use it for the pizza crust, and I'll put the tomato sauce on the pizza crust. So this is how I came up with the recipe. I just looked at the Thrive Life tomato sauce can and read the ingredients and tried to imitate it as close as possible. These are the ingredients I ended up with. I'll include the full recipe in the description box below the video. The recipe for that loaf and for the pizza dough is in my second cookbook. It's on page 58, so that's what that looks like right there. My tomato sauce recipe is perfect on this pizza, and it's also perfect in any recipe of mine that calls for the Thrive Life tomato sauce, and it's a one-to-one substitution. When you're ready to make this mix, just get out a bowl, and you'll start with, of course, tomato powder. So the only ingredient in that is tomatoes. So they have been freeze-dried and then blended into a powder. I'm going to include some instant milk powder and some heavy cream powder in my recipe. And I really like the creaminess that both of those bring. But to be honest, I think I'm putting more of those in my sauce than what Thrive probably did, but it's difficult to achieve the same consistency and flavor. There's some other things involved too, and I'll talk to you about that in a minute. But anyway, this right here is carrot powder. So carrot powder is an ingredient on the back of the can. I ordered that off of Amazon. It was probably $7 or something like that. You could take our dehydrated carrots and blend them and put them in there. But okay, I did that and I found it to be bitter. And once I replaced it with a different carrot powder, it was much better. I also am adding some cornstarch to thicken it up. You could probably use arrowroot starch if you prefer that. And then add as much Italian seasoning as you like, or you could do like the freeze-dried basil, freeze-dried oregano, that kind of thing. I used the Lighthouse brand of Italian seasonings. I'm also adding some onion powder, some garlic powder. This is kosher salt, and they do put sugar in there. In fact, it's one of the first ingredients, so there's quite a bit of sugar in their sauce. And I ended up with 2.5 tablespoons. You can add as much or as little as you like. The citric acid, it's on their ingredient list. I had some, and I put it in there, but I'm going to say it's optional. It does add a bit of a tang, a kind of a brightness to the recipe. And it says on the package that it helps to preserve shelf-stable things. So I put it in there, but some people, they don't really like citric acid, and I understand it's produced through some fermentation. But anyway, don't feel like you have to put it in there if you don't have it. I just happen to have it. All right, stir that up really well. And now I'm going to show you a side-by-side comparison. So here's the Thrive Life tomato sauce can. We all love this. Everybody who has this product probably loves it. I use it in so many of my recipes, and it's just been like heartbreaking. Thrive Life has shut their doors and you can't get this anymore. So my recipes that call for this, I had to come up with a copycat, y'all. So here we are. As you can tell, they look pretty similar, the powders do side by side, but there is a difference. And let me tell you about that. Thrive Life's tomato sauce is not a component sauce, meaning it's not just tomato powder and then carrot powder thrown in there and then spices thrown in there. They actually cooked their sauce. They put it in these giant pots. It's a cooked sauce. They took the cooked sauce, spread it out on the trays, froze it, and then freeze-dried it. So the advantage there is you can just add water to it, mix it up, and it's already been cooked. Mine, these are raw ingredients. Those are raw tomatoes, raw carrots, etc. So in order to get the same consistency and texture as the Thrive Life tomato sauce, which is a cooked sauce, it's been reconstituted right there. All right, in order for mine to be kind of equivalent to that, you're gonna have to cook it for just a little bit. Now, you're not gonna have to cook it separately and in advance if you're putting it into something that is going to be cooked, like a soup or, a casserole or a ziti or spaghetti or something like that. But if you're going to serve it on the side, like a marinara, then you will need to cook this in advance. Not for long, just like 3 to 5 minutes. And I'll show you that. They look pretty different at this point, but after I cook them, they look very similar and the consistency is very similar. So I'm going to put that into a little saucepan on the stove. I'm going to bring it to a boil and then turn that heat down to a medium low and just let it simmer for somewhere between 3 to 5 minutes. And that's going to cook the cornstarch. It'll cook that the veggie powder. Those spices are going to wake up and the flavors are just going to meld and get better all together. Give it a taste, adjust your seasonings if you need to. I didn't adjust mine at all. I thought it was great. But I'm going to pour that into a bowl and then y'all can see these side by side and you can see the textures, the consistency, and hopefully you'll see how close they really are. If you're going to put this in one of my recipes that's going to get cooked, like a soup or casserole or something, you don't have to cook it first. Just throw it in with the recipe. Okay. So that right there on the right, there's the Thrive Life tomato sauce. And then on the left, this is my version of the tomato sauce. See, the consistencies are very similar. It turned out really well. If you taste them side by side, like one right after the other, you'll notice they don't taste exactly the same because I am not Chef Todd. If you know who Chef Todd is, Chef Todd was the chef that worked for Thrive Life to develop all of their sauce recipes. So he was brilliant and I am no chef, that's for sure. But I have, put some time and effort into this. And I think if you try this, you will like it. I'm just gonna shape my pizza crust out of that dough. Now my artisan bread, there's only 4 ingredients in it, y'all. It's great. It's yeast and flour and salt and water. That's all there is to it. I made a quadruple recipe. I put it in my refrigerator and it's been sitting in there. It's good for probably 2 weeks in the fridge. I took off about a quarter of it and I made Ashley's loaf of bread. And then I took another quarter of it and I just let it sit out on the counter for a while, come to room temp, and I've flattened it out into a circle. And I'm gonna make my pizza here. That is my cooked tomato sauce that has cooled. I am trying to showcase the sauce in this recipe, so I put quite a bit of sauce on that pizza. But let me tell you, I kind of like a lot of sauce. Some people say, don't put too much sauce. Well, okay, but I love the sauce. So I'm going to put quite a bit of sauce and quite a bit of cheese. I like a lot of cheese on my pizzas as well. And of course, you can put whatever toppings you want. I'm just basically trying to show you one of the ways that you can use this tomato sauce in your recipes. Now, in my cookbook, I've got lots of recipes for soups that call for the tomato sauce mix or the tomato sauce powder from Thrive Life. And I want y'all to be able to make those. So here's the recipe that you can use in place of that Thrive Life tomato sauce. All right, so I baked that for a few minutes. I actually left it in there too long because my cheese burned a little bit. But let me tell you, it still tasted awesome. I put some more fresh basil on there and then sliced it up. And here we go. Here's my pizza with my homemade tomato sauce. This is awesome. Tasted great. I will include the recipe down below for my artisan bread mix as well, because that is just, it's like the easiest way to make pizza. I mean, if you want homemade crust, that's a great recipe. Super, super easy. I need to make some more of the artisan bread mix and put it in my pantry. I was just about to the bottom of that big jar. Anyway, y'all, that tastes amazing. The tomato sauce is wonderful in there. It's nice and tomatoey. It's a little bit sweet. It's kind of creamy with that heavy cream powder in there and everything. And it's just a wonderful recipe. I'm going to suggest that if you can, store it in the freezer. You can store it on your pantry shelf, but because that tomato powder is in there, it might tend to clump on you. And if you want it to, just for sure not clump on you, if you store it in the freezer, it'll stay nice and powdery. So that's just a suggestion. You don't have to. If you do include that heavy cream powder, make sure you check your expiration date on that heavy cream powder. That is probably what's going to go bad first out of all those ingredients. So check your expiration date. I got mine. It's that Anthony's brand heavy cream powder. And I have it linked below in one of my Amazon links. Make sure you check that expiration date, use it before that date, or put it in the freezer. Store it in the freezer and it should be fine for a long, long, long time. All right, guys. Thank y'all so much for watching. Please be a friend and put me a heart or a smiley face down below. Let me know what you think of the recipe. Be sure to like this video. That really helps my channel. And I've got a scripture verse of the day for you. This is Psalm 119, verse 105, and it reads, "Your word is a lamp to my feet and a light to my path." I love that verse. That's why I try to start every day in God's word. It starts me out right. All right, guys, I hope you have a blessed day. Thanks so much for tuning in. I hope you have a wonderful week. God bless you. And until next time, y'all take care and keep thriving.